absence of Karen tonight, I've been given the privilege to welcome and introduce our guest speakers, Sue and Oscar. Oscar, yes. Sue and Oscar from Neighbourhood House. I'm sure everyone's heard of the great programs they run. Sue is currently the manager and Oscar is the chairman of the business committee. Is that right, Oscar?
I'm chair of the house. Chair of everything.
So if you'd like to come forward and lead us through your presentation, that would be great. Thank you.
Come on, ex-manager.
Thanks, Gwen. Thanks, Geraldine, for the opportunity to speak. I'll speak to that. So those who don't know me, I'm Oscar Arthur. I'm the current president of the Kerang Neighbourhood House. And it's one of those gigs that is actually a pleasure. Sometimes you inherit something you don't like. So it's good. So just a little bit of background about the house in the area.
Can you use a microphone?
Okay, so is that better? Okay. So a bit of history. Neighbourhood houses were instituted in Victoria around about 1981 or 82 by Jane Kerner, I think, remembers, the then Victorian Premier, who felt a need for community development by the community itself, as distinct from coming down from Melbourne. So obviously Kerang itself ended up with the Neighbourhood House, which was housed in the old nurses' home. And that was till around about 2002 or 3, I think, when it was sourced by the hospital. Then it decided to go out on its own. Then ended up upstairs from Target, and then that little room downstairs, which to me was a silly decision. A lot of people sort of just hasn't worked. So, being blunt and honest, the Neighbourhood House went downhill. Where about 3.5 years ago, it was actually insolvent. It was spending more money than it had, and not doing anything it was supposed to do, according to the charter. And you get paid money from Melbourne, obviously, to open the doors for 24 hours, 25 hours a week. The rest we have to do ourselves. So the house was insolvent. So I was approached along with some other community members, Karen Davies and one, to see if we could try to sort of resurrect the house to some extent, or at least take it a little bit further forward. I had worked for the Neighbourhood House in Victoria for a couple of years on a part-time basis, so that's how I ended up with it. So we had to try to sort out the thing, and they owed the guy who rented the building and a few other things about $120,000 or $130,000, which they didn't have. They were just gone. So I approached Tammy Barker, and I can make sure that Tammy's seen for this, explained the situation to her, and Tammy agreed to act for the house for nothing. So over about a 3 or 4 month period, we negotiated back and forth with the owner of the house, the owner of the building, I should say, and we come to a settlement agreement. So he's going to get a little bit of money, absolutely nothing where we're going. So that was done. So Tammy did some amazing work for us. If you ever see Tammy, please make sure we think of that. Can you pass that on? I've spoken to her personally many times.
Yeah.
Obviously she was over with me. So that gave the house a footing. We then approached some more community members to come and join us, and that's when we started going off in the right direction. We had a great manager, and now we've got a great manager again. And these are people who, they get paid for 24 hours. Trust me, she doesn't work 24 hours a week, 25 hours a week. I know that for a fact. You've got to have that passion for it. So at the end of the day, it's now a vibrant, positive community and organisation that is needed for 1,000,001 reasons, and Sue will explain that in a little while. So really, it's one of those gigs, as I said before. It's an absolute pleasure to be a chair, to work with Sue. Go for it, mate.
Thank you. Hello. Before I start this, I just want to thank you for having me. And Jenny and I were talking before, and I thought I'd bring this up before I get into Neighbourhood House stuff, that both my adult children, thanks to Rotary, went to Cambodia with Geraldine and Sharon. So I have had a bit of a past history with you guys, and we're very appreciative that both my children got that opportunity. So it feels a bit weird here standing up here now, having to do this, but anyway. For those of you who don't know me, I have been a manager at the Kerang Neighbourhood House for about 5 months now. I was on the board for about two years and secretary probably for about 6 months or so. And when Meg decided that she needed her next challenge, I thought, well, it might be time for my next one. So I'm following in Meg's footsteps. Lots of the things that we have put in place were part of Meg's dream as well. So I get a bit uncomfortable at times because I'm getting a lot of really positive feedback from the community about, oh, Neighbourhood House is doing so much now. But Neighbourhood House was doing a lot before, but what Meg had to do, as Oscar explained, a lot of it was what people and the community didn't see. And if it wasn't for Meg and that previous board, we wouldn't even have a Neighbourhood House. So I just want to acknowledge Meg as well, because I feel like sometimes it gets forgotten about. So Neighbourhood House Victoria, the slogan for Neighbourhood House Victoria is that neighbourhood houses, hopefully I can work this one way.
Pointed at the computer.
Oh.
Yeah, never used one of these.
Well-
Now,
So the slogan for Neighbourhood Houses Victoria is that neighbourhood houses are the heart of the community, and we're really trying to work very hard at the moment to make our neighbourhood house the heart of the community. We are known around Kerang as being a place where we support people from lower socioeconomic climate and cohort, and that a lot of people don't want to come to the neighbourhood house because they feel that that's all we do, but it's only a small part of what we do. So tonight I just want to highlight everything, a bit of an overview of what we actually do. So we are working very hard to try and be the heart of our community in Kerang. All of our activities and programs that we're running at the moment come under mainly two top sort of heading banners. First one is social connection, so we have lots of activities and programs trying to connect people socially. And one of our new programs we have running at the moment is the Chatty Cafe scheme, which is actually a global scheme. And the scheme is about connecting people just to have a chat. And having worked in the main street of Kerang for the last 10 years previous to this job, I've seen many people wander up and down the main street in Kerang that appear to be quite lonely and don't have anyone to talk to. So this was something that was really important to me to try and have. So the first Tuesday of the month we have a general Chatty Cafe session where anyone can come in and have a chat and a cuppa, and at the moment I'm still being really nice and making scones and everything, but I'm sure that nobody will wear off soon. But what I'm probably a little bit more excited about is we started a blokes only Chatty Cafe on the third Friday of the month, and the first one we only had 3 fellas at, which that was okay. It was that 42-degree day we had, and I wasn't expecting anyone there, so that was good. And then the one we had last Friday, we had 5. So if we can just get a couple of extra every once a Friday, once a month, we're happy. Feedback's been really good, and I'm getting honest feedback because it's actually my partner's taken on the lead volunteer role for that. So he said the feedback was really positive. So at least I know that he's being honest, because he'd tell me if it was not good. Moving on with more of our social connection stuff, we have our social craft group, which is the 2nd and the 4th Thursday of the month, because we had to fit in with the Baptist Church social craft group that also is on a Thursday, and they meet the 1st, the 2nd, 3rd and the 5th. So some of the ladies that come to our Chatty Cafe said, well, if you're going to have a craft group, we'll come, but make it these 2 Thursdays, and then we know every Thursday. So today I've had a bunch of ladies again at the Neighbourhood House doing that, which is really lovely. We have last Friday of the month Sip and Sew, where thankfully no one really ever has brought any alcohol at this stage, because but they usually have a cup of tea. And in the evening, Friday evening, and we've got lots of machines and overlockers that people can use as well. and yeah, they come down, and sometimes they might need something that they need a bit of mending of and stuff like that, which I will try and help them with if I can. I used to sew a lot, but I haven't done it for a long time, but I'll certainly give it a crack. And we have got coming up a Made by Me pop-up market, which we're going to trial and see how it goes. So that'll just be at the Neighbourhood house, and we're going to have it on a Friday just before Mother's Day, and we're encouraging anyone that has a bit of a hobby that you might want to make a few dollars or something to maybe come and have a trestle at that. Time Out Single Parent Group, it's been running now for about 3 years, and it's the first Friday of the month, and yeah, that's just for single parents that find it a bit challenging or don't have anyone that they feel like they can have a chat to, so they meet once a month and just have a chat, and it's really good. Youth group has been running on a Tuesday evening. Lid sorting we have on the second Monday of the month. Unfortunately, we're not getting a lot of uptake to that, but we do get young Irene to that, which is very helpful. She takes some home sometimes, which we appreciate. But we're slowly getting through all the lids, and a little bit in a minute I'll show you what we're going to do with the lids, because it is very exciting. This year we started a women's domestic violence sort of peer support group. That was came about from last year with the Ganawarago's Orange 16 Days of Activism in October, November, that some of the ladies there had experienced domestic violence, but felt that even though they had a great domestic violence counsellor in Kerang, that they still wanted to connect with people that have been through similar situations to them. So we've started that, and it's just a little group of ladies. It's slowly growing. Each month we get one new lady. I sat in on the first one just to be there and sort of guide the conversation. There was a lot of tears, a lot of heartbreaking stories, but at the end of it, there were 4 ladies that left hugging each other and thanking God that they'd met each other, and when they came back the next month, they were all hugging. So it was really lovely. So Wednesday mornings we have our social walking group, which is nice and early at 7 a.m, which I know doesn't suit everyone, but it suits me because I've got to go to work. So, but we get a few come now and then. Sometimes there's just 2 of us, sometimes there's more, 3 or 4, but we're just going to keep doing it for the time being. We have our community garden, which at the moment is looking very sad and is in need of some love. So if anyone's interested and likes gardening, we welcome the help with that. Line dancing. Line dancing is probably our biggest activity with the most participants, which are on Thursday afternoon out at Murrabit. The Northern Line Dancers meet. Now most of these ladies have been doing it for 20 and 30 years, and they are amazing. I actually went out there today to visit them, to say g'day. The lady that takes it for us is a volunteer, so I wanted to go and meet her as well. I hadn't met her because she lives in Swan Hill, and I was really blown away because I had heard a lady that I've known for 30 or so years, because I used to live in Pyramid Hill and she's from Pyramid Hill, who's 96, is out on the dance floor with her walker doing line dancing, and her feet were moving and the top of her body might not have been moving so much, but she still knew every single step, and it was really heartwarming. So it just goes to show it doesn't matter how old you are, you can do line dancing. I've started myself this year, the social line dancing on a Thursday night, so I'm finding it lots of fun, and I am no great dancer, that's for sure, and I'm also left-handed, and every time we start a dance I want to go this way and everyone else goes that way, so that's been a bit of a challenge for me, but I'm trying and I'm actually really enjoying it. Just a brief overview, we've tried to put in a heap of short courses this term, which some of you know because you're at the food handling on Monday. So this term we've offered safe food handling, responsible service of alcohol, barista training, motorcycle first aid, and there is a firearm safety course once a month that is actually run by some volunteers in town through Kerang Police. So next term we're looking at running zero software training, safe food handling again because we had so much uptake from the first course, And we're also going to hopefully get off and running a transition to independence, which is actually a bit of a baby of mine that sort of stems from my previous job as a youth worker. So there's some of the things that we're trying to organise for term 2. I just wanted to tap on courses and training a bit. We're currently in the process of becoming, trying to become ACFE accredited, which for those of you who don't know, it's Adult Community Further Education. My role for the last 6.5 years has been working with disengaged youth across Southern Bullack who won't go to school. So I've been working with a lot of teenagers over that time, and the one thing that I found everywhere, but particularly for Gannawarra and Kerang in particular, is that I had nowhere to put them. If they wouldn't go to Kerang Tech as teenagers and they couldn't afford to go to the Christian school, we had nowhere to put them. So when Meg, the previous manager, decided that she was up for a new challenge, I thought, okay, this could be the only way I'm going to get something happening. So I am dedicating this year to, and it's one of my primary goals, thankfully it's on the board's strategic plan too, to try and get courses in stuff in Kerang, because we're working on that. So for 2024 we were hoping that we will be able to offer a bit of an array of different courses, not just for teenagers, but that anyone can tap into. And I've been very fortunate with that I'm collaborating with the Department of Education, my previous employer, the Murray Mallee Glen, to look at the gaps, and we've been talking to key stakeholders around all the barriers for training in Kerang in particular. So watch this space in that area. Our everyday services, most of you probably know, we do offer a food assistance program. It is funded by the Salvation Army. We're very fortunate to have that funding, and it allows us to purchase food items from Food Bank, Food Share, and we can access the Salvation Army Food Bank as well. But we also get funding. Recently we got a $5,000 donation from the Gannawarra Toy One, which was pretty exciting. We get funding through, or donation, they like to call it, from Courts Victoria. And we often get just really lovely community members will come in with a couple of boxes of groceries, or $100 check, or here's $50 cash, please put that towards your program, which is really good. So this year we've really expanded the program, and we've set up in one of our back offices, like I just call it a mini supermarket. Again, coming from working with low socioeconomic people for the last 6.5 years. One thing I've found is that often they're just given things, but I wanted them to have their own autonomy, because what I was seeing when I first came to the neighbourhood house, and I just sat back and watched everything and then had a good discussion with the staff and the volunteers, that we would be providing packs to people, and then we'd find things out on the park, behind the laneway, down at the train station, because they didn't want half the stuff that was in it. So I had a good chat to the staff and the volunteers and said, look, I understand that you think that these people should be having lentil beans and kidney beans and brown rice and all this stuff because it's nutritious, and we know that if we're eating a spaghetti bowl, if we put some carrot or some zucchini in it and we top it up with some kidney beans or something, lentils, that it's helping us get some proteins and other things. They do not want to cook. Most of them unfortunately don't have the interest, or they're past the capacity to even want to do it. So we have tried to change that a bit. We've still got a lot of that staple sort of food, but we're also, if they're accessing a mini supermarket, we're giving them more things that they can just heat up and eat straight away, and the feedback has been really good and they're really appreciating it, which I'm sort of glad that we're doing it that way now. I think it's making a big difference, because they get to choose within reason on what they want, because one of the biggest things for me is to be, whilst just at the heart of the community, but also a place of non-judgment. I don't care if they come in to me and say they've got no money, and then one of the volunteers will go, I saw them down at the pub yesterday and they were on the pokies all afternoon. not my business. What they spend their money on and how they do it is not up to me to judge them. I'm just there, as long as they present to us at the Neighbourhood House, they're polite, they're courteous, that's all we are. So, yeah, our food assistant program is doing quite well at the moment. And like I said, we do support people, and not everyone accessing that program is from your low socioeconomic group. Unfortunately, with the floods, we're having a lot of people access the program that would never have had to access that sort of program before. And we're also fortunate enough, having a conversation with Geraldine a couple of months ago, and I came down and helped you guys pack your food, former meals, packs and stuff like that too. So we were able to give some of that to community members. Haven't got any feedback from them, but yeah, we did discuss it on the day. Sharon Champion was here that day too, and again, we sort of did have a conversation that perhaps they may not get used as well as they should be from maybe some of the people that were taking them, but we still had them anyway to offer people. Something else we were talking about before, volunteers. How do we attract more volunteers to all the places that we have, whether it's Rotary, the Neighbourhood House, anywhere? They seem to be few and far between these days. I'm not going to lie, we're really struggling at Neighbourhood House. We need more volunteers. And I probably have a pretty high standard of volunteers. I'm pretty easygoing, but I also have to, I'm quite frank with them that if they feel that they may judge people, or that they're not going to like the sort of people that sometimes do come into the Neighbourhood House, and that there's going to be an issue, that then we're not the place for them. So and our food assistant program is probably where we're really lacking, and we do need empathetic and non-judgment people to do the interviews, because it's a Salvation Army program. We have to sit down with them and fill a form in, and it's quite invasive. Once we get to know them, we don't go through the form each time, we just get their details and double check that they've still got, same address and stuff like that. But yeah, just there are some things that we do need extra volunteers for. But yeah, so if anyone thinks that they've got enough, a bit more spare time up their sleeve, come into Neighbourhood House and
See us.
see one of us, or if anyone wants to go on the board and be my boss, Oscar's always looking for new people, aren't you, Oscar? More about everyday services. We have room hire. We do one-on-one IT support. We were funded for a program called Be Connected. That's now finished now, so we do have to charge for our IT support, because Rodney, who does most of that, who's a bit of a whiz, I've got to pay him, so I've got to get a bit of that money back somehow. We do have our seed bank, which we've got lots of seeds and stuff like that, so if anyone wants any, please just pop on in and check it out. Just having a bit of a brag here. So advertising and promotion, the Kerang happening at the moment, we're printing over 500 copies a month. And our social media page, because I'm told when I took this job on that social media is everything. I wasn't big on social media before, probably because of my other job too. I was very private, didn't really go on social media. Now I'm on it all the time, and my face is everywhere, which I really don't like. But anyway, it's part of the job. But we've reached over 10,500 people in the last 28 days. So. It's showing me that it really does have a platform for us, and that we all need to get on board. But I think the Kerang happenings is very important, particularly for our older community that aren't on social media, so that we still have those two different mediums. Now, going back about our lids, this was a project that Meg Stewart started a couple of years ago, I think. The Mallee Neighbourhood House Cluster, there's 9 of us, purchased the machines to make things out of all these plastic lids that we've been collecting. So I reckon we have 20,000-30,000 lids at Neighbourhood House. Some clean, some yet to be cleaned. but sometime in the next 12 months, the shredder will go around with the person, someone, I think we're going to employ someone, and they will come to each neighbourhood house and spend maybe, a couple of days there and actually start to melt the lids down and make things from the moulds that we've purchased, which is going to be very exciting. So when that does happen, we'll be putting shout outs to everyone to come and have a look at this. So I didn't quite understand the extent of this program when I was on the board. Meg explained it to us, but I didn't quite get it until I took over as the manager and then started reading everything Meg had on it. And I can testify this to Oscar last week, or a fortnight ago. I was showing the ladies at the social craft group wanted to know what we were doing with all the lids, so I got it all up on the big TV screen while I was showing them some YouTube videos of them doing, they shred the lids, they melt the lids and all this. Oscar was standing in the doorway listening, and even you were surprised, Oscar, of how it actually all works. So I am very excited about this project, and I was disappointed because I raced out tonight to go to line dancing, and I had meant to bring some of our clipboards because we've got quite a few of the clipboards which are up the top there that have been made out of, it takes 111 milk bottle caps to make one of the clipboards. But the most exciting thing too also is Swan Hill Neighbourhood House has got the machine at the moment, and they've started producing the little key rings, which unfortunately, when they ordered the mould, was the old Neighbourhood House logo, and we've now got the new one, but anyway, that's beside the fact. So they've actually started producing little key rings with Neighbourhood House. But as you can see, coasters, tic-tac-toe, platters, they make combs, earrings. There's probably about 30 or 40 products that we can buy the moulds for to make actual product out of all these lids. So whilst sorting them and washing them, which I'm doing a hell of a lot of it at home, my laundry is full of lids all the time. My partner goes into the laundry and you can't see the bench because I've got lids everywhere. But to me, it's just such a worthwhile project because at least they're not getting thrown out. So if anyone wants to come to lid sorting every second Monday, please do so.
Sue, sorry to interrupt. So would you then sell those products that are...
I believe that is the aim, that we would sell. I mean, I can't imagine anyone wanting, this is making a judgment, which I keep saying we don't judge, but I don't think anyone would actually probably want to buy a Neighbourhood House keyring. I would look at that's something that we're going to give away. But yeah, they've bought 5 moulds. One of them is the Neighbourhood House keyring. I'm not sure what the other moulds are yet. I don't think that's actually been decided. But yeah, the moulds, I suppose it's going to be consensus on what we think that we all want out of it. So I'm actually super keen, and I'll have to have a bit of a chat to Oscar about this, but I'm actually super keen to try and get funding to buy our own machine because we've got that many leads. And some of the other neighbourhood houses have said, we've stopped collecting them, we've just got too many, we can't keep up with it. Whereas I'm like, no, I'll just keep washing them at home. Or, they get put in a tub overnight, the next morning I put them all in lingerie bags, they get on the washing line at lunchtime when Colin goes home. I say, just move them around so they're getting, and he's like, okay. But, and then I'll go home quickly at lunchtime and I might move them around a bit more to get some more air, but I think it's just such a worthwhile program. So we'll see. I don't know, that's a conversation we need to have, whether or not it's worth trying to get some funding to actually get our own machines and equipment to it all. We are a recycling drop-off point for many things, bread tags, razors, what are those things? Cork, same things. Printer cartridges and even glasses and hearing aids, so anyone can drop those off. And we have different people. I don't even know if there's someone from Rotary. I don't know if there's something from Rotary there. I haven't sort of got my head around it all. But different people are sort of in charge of coming and, every now and then someone will come and pick up the glasses from wherever they're from or whatever. So yeah, so if you have any of that stuff, drop it in because we've got little boxes set up at the front of the house. Power saving bonus. Many of you will be able to apply for the power saving bonus, which round, I think it's 3, I believe, finishes at midnight tonight. Round 4 starts at 12:01 tomorrow. So anyone that wants to come in and get support to do that, please either ring us or pop in and make an appointment. We have dedicated Tuesday the 18th April, set aside the whole day to just try and smash out as many as we can. Takes Carolyn, who will do them, about 15 minutes. And that is a free service because we get funded by Neighbourhood Houses Victoria to support our community to apply for it if you need to apply for it. So if you need to come and apply for it, please do so. All you need to do is bring your most recent power bill, some identification that has the same address as your power bill and your bank details. And then, like I said, it only takes her about 15 minutes to get it done for you, and you'll get your $250 back within a fortnight, I believe. Just a couple of extra things. We're really trying to tap into that school holiday sort of area, trying to just put some things out there for the kids. Neighbourhood House this year became members of the Kerang Traders Association, even though we're not really a trader, but I felt that it was important that we became part of the community like that. So from that, we're going to actually be down the street on the Thursday afternoon for the Easter Festival, doing crafts and stuff for the kids, so we'll be there. We're doing Dungeons and Dragons session during the school holidays, which is pretty exciting because if you're a bit of a Dungeons and Dragons nerd like Rodney is at Neighbourhood House. So we've had a lot of interest in that. So Rodney will be taking that and teaching some participants if they're into it or if they want to learn more about it. And we'll be doing some school holiday craft stuff as well. And just as a key reminder for that, which I have just changed our flyers to, that everyone that is at Neighbourhood House, staff and volunteers, all have working with children and criminal check. So everyone is very safe with us. And that's it from me. Thank you.
Just a couple of small things I'd like to add to what I said before, especially as said it. The Neighbourhood House you see today has no resemblance to the Neighbourhood House of 3 years ago. Totally different animals. We have become fairly financially secure that we've made an offer to buy the building in Scorsese Street. So we've gone from backward 3 years ago to that. It's going to take us a while to do, so that shows how we're going on. So thanks, guys.
Thank you, Oscar and Sue, for that very interesting presentation tonight. I'm sure everyone's amazed the amount of programs and that are running at, from Neighbourhood House. And Sue mentioned social media, and I think most people have probably seen that there's a lot advertised on social media. So it is covering a lot of people in our community. Thank you very much for all the hard work you do, and I've just got a small presentation. A small presentation for our appreciation from Rotary. So, a Rotary tumbler.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Can I ask a quick question? How the machine that you use for the shredding of the tops, how much is one of those?
The small one that they've bought, I believe, from looking at Meg's funding budget thing, was just under $6,000.
Okay.
So it was about $6,000 for because you need the machine that shreds them, and then you need the one that melts so all up I think about $12,000. And then I believe on top of that there was another $10,000 or $12,000 budgeted for the actual moulds. So for example, the Neighbourhood House keyring, that would have been a mould that they had to manufacture themselves because it's something a little bit different. If you wanted the tic-tac-toe mould that they've already got the prototype for that, it would be a lot cheaper. So yeah, but all up, the budget, I believe, for the whole program, including putting someone on to take the machine to all the different neighbourhood houses and teach people how to use it, I think the whole project and the funding they got was somewhere around the $60,000 mark.
Sorry, is there any more questions?
A question through you, Gwen. the moulds, do you know roughly how much they cost each, Sue, or not?
I think they depend on what they are,
Yeah.
the size and stuff like that, yeah. If anyone happens to be going to the Bendigo Sustainability Festival on the weekend, Zero Plastics will be there, and they're the ones that actually made the mould, the actual prototypes and the machines themselves. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's not easy, I'm told. The little benchtop ones that we've purchased, it's quite a bit of a trying to, you need a bit of muscle. But yeah, I'm going to go down on Sunday because I really want to have a good look at it being done. And I thought, well, if that's on, and I'm actually going to be in Bendigo anyway, I'll go and check it out before I have further consideration on whether or not it is worth trying to get funding to actually get our own or not. But again, if that was to happen, we need more volunteers to try and make it all too. So, you know, everything comes with the, you've got to weigh up the pros and the cons.
Ron, did you?
There was one program that you didn't mention, which is the newcomers barbecues. Is that
Oh,
still?
yes, yep. So we
still
are
something?
hoping to have that again in May. I did
Yep.
make initial contact, and I was only looking at my to-do list yesterday thinking, right, I've got to start organising May because I've got 3 things in May I want to get done, and that's definitely one of them.
Good. Yep.
Michael, I've got a comment. This is not about Neighbourhood House. I want to have a little bit of reminisce with Oscar. The perfect opportunity while you're here at the moment.
Are we doing this in public or private?
It can be public. Going back a few years ago, you had a card player working in the back office at your premise, and that fellow said to you, Councillor Atson, what would you think if Rotary was to want to take on the old Local Fitness Centre? And you grabbed me by the scruff of the neck and said, come with me, son. Dragged him up into Rollo's office. I think it was a pretty fruitful meeting when you have a look around here now. It's been a fantastic venue for us as a club, and thank you for your help with that, and Rollo and everybody else who organised it. But it's just, as far as I'm concerned, it's the makings of this club having this building, which the Shire own, we maintain and pay a peppercorn rent. We sometimes can't find peppercorn seeds.
I'll speak to Rollo for you. Up a bit, make a couple of thank you for that.
It's been a fantastic arrangement, it saved the building, and we could put back up in the Shire, so thank, and the car club share it with us now. So I just wanted to bring that up while you're here, thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Any more questions? Okay, thank you very much.
I probably should just say one more thing that I forgot to say. I'm really passionate about supporting any of the clubs and working together. As you would have seen the other month when Geraldine came in and said, well, do you like some of these things? We're going to be packing them. And I said, oh, yeah, we'll have some, but I'll come down and help. So, you know, if there is anything that you need help with Neighbourhood House, whether it's just me that turns up or whether as the house we can help you with, please let us know, because, yeah, I want to work with everyone. Because I think sometimes, what do they say?
Many hands make light work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I now understand why it's good to be the president of that organisation.